Hey, what's up? I know it's been a minute, but here I am. And this video is 5 random records, and I'm talking about 5 songs on each record. I kind of stole this idea from Brian at Embryonic Robots. I hope I'm saying that right. He has a great channel. He has really good taste in music. He brings up a lot of artists that I've never heard of. He's out of Canada, and so he talks a lot about Canadian artists that I'm like, what? And just really, really interesting channel. Has a really large, cool collection. And so he does this little thing, apparently, not apparently, because it's true. I did not realize that on Discogs you can actually go into your collection and there's a random button. It'll pop up an album and you can listen to said album and kind of choose it that way. So he'll pick 5 and then pull them out of his collection and then talk about them. So what I did is I pulled 5 records, and I'm going to talk about 5 songs off of each of these records. And if it's a 12-inch single, obviously I'm going to skip it. If it's a 45, I'm going to skip it because there aren't 5 songs on there. And the only other time I skipped something was if it was an artist that had already come up, because a lot in my collection, I have the full catalog of the artist. So the chance of the same artist coming up several times is pretty good. So the first one that popped up, this is their 1986 debut. And this is Erasure's Wonderland. There is 2 versions of this. This is the 2016 reissue, but this is of the UK European pressing, and then I've got the US pressing. The US and Canada pressing are the same. You got your track listing back there, and see how dark that is? It's so hard to read the names of the songs on the US version. I do like the writing on the UK better. The track listing is different and in a different order. Yeah, because I mean, you've got Senseless on the first side of the US, it's on the second side, and then there are 2 songs that are on the UK version that's not on the US, and 1 song that's on. So I'm combining like the songs that and I'll tell you which, is not on what or whatever. Yeah, so my favorite track off of this album, so I'm starting with my number 1 and then going down to number 5, is Cry So Easy. And that has probably been one of my favorite Erasure songs, probably since this album came out. I started listening to Erasure in 1987, and it was before their second record, The Circus, came out. So I've actually been listening to this band since the start, basically a year into their career. So a big part of my life is listening to this band. I've seen them, I think, 5 times live, 4 or 5 times. I think it was supposed to be 5, but then the show got canceled, but 4 or 5, I can't remember. But just have a lot of love and a lot of fond memories revolved around their music, especially this particular album. My second favorite song is My Heart So Blue. Wave Goodbye to a Heart So Blue. It's such a beautiful, haunting song, and after the Circus came out, they did the Touring Circus, which was kind of like a remix. Like, there was remix versions, but there was orchestral versions of 3 songs, and one of them was My Heart So Blue, and it's just with Andy's vocals and the strings, and the just absolutely gorgeous. And of course the original is very special to me, but there's something about that particular version that just melts my heart. Number 3 is Say What the Hell You Think You've Done, which song's just called Say What, but so good. I remember just really, like, being a young 13, 14-year-old me, and just kind of dancing and just, I think I was kind of like, say what the hell you think you done, to like my dad or something like that. It was like my cuss out to him song. Just that line, because I think there might be some romantic elements to that song. But off of the UK version, there is a song called Push Me Shove Me, which again is not on the US release. I just push me, shove me. I don't call that love, I call that over. And I just love that song. And my fifth favorite is on the US version. It was on the Olamore single as a B-side, but it was not on the UK pressing, and that is March On Down the Line. As we move through some of these, you'll probably notice that the singles off of the albums are not my favorite tracks. That happens quite frequently. Number two that popped up was her 1999 album. This is Dolly Parton's The Grass is Blue, and this was the first of a trilogy of bluegrass albums that she did. Grass is Blue, Little Sparrow, and Halos and Horns. Believe that's the order they were in. I think Grass is Blue is the best out of the three, but they're all good and they all have their certain elements of them that are fantastic. She won a Grammy for this album, and was also nominated for Country Female Vocalist of the Year with her cover of Billy Joel's Traveling Prayer. I love how simple the cover is. I love just the black and white, and of course this is before any major surgery, which she's had, you know, plastic surgery by this time, but it's before anything that's distorted her face like now. She still has lips, and just absolutely that black and white, and then that just subtle blue is just absolutely gorgeous. My favorite song off of this is The Grass is Blue, the title track. And what I love about that is that she makes everything opposite. So the sky is green and the grass is blue, and you know, eagles can't fly and the fish can't swim, and it's just a wonderful take on words, and just the simple piano and it's just an absolutely breathtaking song. Silver Dagger, which is a traditional song. All you maidens hear my warning, never trust a handsome man, because he will gut you like a devil or something like that. Just with the mandolins and the banjos and just all that, just kind of beating, it just so haunting, and so just kind of that tale of woe, and that tale of just like, this man's going to destroy you, so listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. Steady as the Rain, which was one of her original songs as well that was written for this album. There is a band called the Larkins that covered this song, and Dolly actually did the backing vocals, and they kind of slowed it down a little bit. Dolly's is a little faster paced, but again, just that banjo and the guitar, and just it being it just, you know, steady as the rain may fall, just absolutely gorgeous. And Traveling Prayer, which is a Billy Joel song, and it sounds nothing like the original, and it's just fantastic. And the last song I really adore off this record is her cover of Johnny Cash's I Still Miss Someone, and it's just simple and breathtaking, and Dolly's vocals on this song just kind of bring a new life to it. Cash's is amazing, but hers just brings, you know, just that breath of fresh air and that different take on it. A soundtrack came up next, and this is Some Kind of Wonderful from the movie, obviously, which is one of my favorite movies, and it's the movie that introduced me to Mary Stuart Masterson, who I just absolutely adore. And this came out in 1987. This is a fantastic soundtrack. And this is the soundtrack that introduced me to Flesh for Lulu. So, and they're a fantastic band, and it's sad that this song off of this soundtrack is the only thing Flesh for Lulu related I have in the vinyl collection. I need to work on that. So, favorite track, I love Lick the Tins' cover of Can't Help Falling in Love, which was made famous by Elvis Presley. It is so fantastic. It's I don't know, kind of got like an Irish swing to it. I don't really know how to describe it. And her vocals are just, they're very, I don't know much about the band. I I mean, I know this song. I know that, and I really maybe should have looked more into Lick the Tins because I love their cover of this. But I was afraid that it was like, I really, really love this song, but it's a cover. Am I going to actually like their original material? And maybe they never did anything more than this. I don't know. Number 2 is I Go Crazy, Flush for Lulu. I Go Crazy When I'm Without You. Fantastic. Furniture's Brilliant Mind. Brilliant. It's just a brilliant song. Jesus and Mary Chain's The Hardest Walk and The March Violets, which they have 2 tracks on this soundtrack, and Miss Amanda Jones. The 4th record that popped up, it's so easy for me to talk about this album because I've been listening to it forever, and I would probably categorize this as my 3rd favorite Cure album. So this is from 1985, The Cure's The Head on the Door, and it's brilliant. There's really not a bad track off this album, but Sinking is my number 1 favorite song off this. Just that dramatic kind of like that do 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 do, and then it just kind of, you're like 2 minutes in before he starts singing, and I am falling down, I am sinking, I am sinking. It's just absolutely phenomenal, spectacular, fucking brilliant. It's definitely in my top 5 of favorite Cure songs of all times. 6 Different Ways is number 2, 6 Different Ways Inside My Heart. I just really, really, yeah, I love that. It's almost a tie between those 2, but Sinking is just a little tad bit higher than 6 Different Ways. A Night Like This is number 3. Say hello on a day like today, like it's the last day you ever knew. Kyoto Song. It looks good. It tastes like nothing on earth. And Go, 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 Push It Away. Push is my 5th favorite song off this record. The last album that came up is her debut from 1959. This is, I think this is a 20, let's say like it's a 20, like 15-ish reissue of this. I do have an original mono 1959. The album, the record is scratched to shit, but the cover is perfect. It is titled Little Girl Blue, but on the original album, it actually does not say Little Girl Blue. It just says Nina Simone, jazz as played in an exclusive side street club. So looking at the original version, you would think that Jazz as Played in an exclusive side street club was the original title of this record. I am a huge Nina Simone fan. I have adored her for years. Such an amazing debut, such an amazing artist, such a revelation for her time. Just spectacular. Spectacular. The spectacular. Apparently, we're going to emphasize spec. Anywho, Plain Gold Ring is one of the most just gut-wrenching. Can you tell I like sad songs? You know, Plain Gold Ring or on your finger you wore, and that I think Plain Gold Ring and her version of Cotton Eye Joe, those, I had sugar in my bowl, but I think Plain Gold Ring is probably my favorite Nina Simone song of all times. Number 2 is My Baby Just Cares For Me, and I love when she talks about Liberace's smile, because Liberace was big ol' homo, but that's okay, we didn't know in 1959. Love Me or Leave Me, Let Me Be Lonely. Mood Indigo, and then Little Girl Blue. So this was fun. This is something that I'm probably going to do at least once, maybe twice a month. Just something different. And, you know, Brian, if you watch, thank you for kind of letting me steal this idea from you. Even though I didn't ask you or tell you, I'm telling you now, but your random 5 albums inspired this for me. So thank you for that. I'll be back soon, so feel like liking and subscribing if you haven't. Go ahead and do so. And as always, thanking you.